a fur, not a secondhand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a real man. Give me a real man, you know what I mean. I want a real man. Oh, real man, you're what I need.
Hey, what's up? Sutton, how you doing? Good to see you. You ready to go, big man?
Yeah, you're ready to go.
I want a
Work dick in early.
Work it in, man. Hey, welcome to Real Men. I'm Tim Steeves. We have a great panel. This is the show where men get real, as you know. And we have a great panel today. Let's introduce him. Jean-Paul's here with us. How you doing, JP?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good to see you, man. Also, Dwayne Hill will be joining us, the effervescent Dwayne Hill.
Hello.
And Krista Sutton dropped in. Nice to see Krista.
Nice to be here as usual.
Nice to see you. Also, Chuck Byrn. Chuck will be here. And actually, we're going to be talking male body image in this first segment. And Chuck Byrn's going to get it kicked off with a commentary. Chuck?
Do you suffer from pelican chin? Do you have a gut? Perhaps you have an ass like a tank. Or maybe you just think you do. Maybe you've been conned by the media into believing you have a bad body. Maybe it's just the camera that's added 30 or 40, 50, maybe 60 pounds. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not your problem at all. Just keep wearing your golf shirts. You're doing fine, baby. We're going to talk about body image and find out why I'm so confused.
Nice job, Chuck. Okay, posing a few questions. I think we do worry about our body image. I know most people get a TV gig, they lose some weight for it. I packed on about 15 for this, so, you know. What about you, Jean-Paul? You check your ass in the mirror? What's going on?
Yeah, I check my ass because I'm pretty vain, so I like looking at my own ass. It was hard enough just getting here to the studio to tape the show and not look at my ass anymore.
John Paul was raised by budgies, so he loves those mirrors and he cracks his beak. He cracks his beak into those beaks.
I am looking
I'm not leaving the house till you stop looking.
Speaking of budget, what is a pelican chin?
Pelican chin.
Oh,
Looks like you can fit fish
thing.
in there. You ever
Right. That's,
Thanks for making me do this again, though. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. That's
Thanks
nice
for the
touch
fresh nickname on a double chin, like we didn't have enough.
Yeah, right. He's just
Exactly.
supplying more fodder.
The bottom line is, what it is it's the moisturizer makeup people that have decided, you know, if we make men worry about what they look like, we could sell just as much, twice as much goop.
yeah, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but you know, I really do believe that there is
Marketing.
It is marketing. All of it is marketing.
Does your T-zone get oily, Chuck? You get an oily T-zone?
I get an oily T-zone, and it's a nightmare, and I worry about
Combination skin?
I don't know.
Can't we-
I mean, your face is oily. All right, you got a rag. I mean, that's how I fix
Slow
it.
metabolism. We do that. Just
Slow
pelican. I don't like that. It's pelican. Slow metabolism. You guys use something slow metabolism.
What about you, Dwayne? Do you worry about this stuff?
Well, you know, I weigh like 290, so I got about 6 more years left in me before my heart bursts in front of my kids. You know, I don't even have another piece of cake. What? It's not frosting extra. Oh, it's so cold. Why is my left arm numb? I can do that. I don't feel it. Oh, Claire, why are we saving this man's
So
life?
do you really go 290?
I'm 290. Yeah, I weigh
So
290.
are you concerned about that?
Well, you know, it's let's put it this way.
but
If I
he's
was in
huge,
Samoa,
too. He's
I'd be a
tall.
god. I'd never complain. You know, be
You know
like,
what,
you mayonnaise king. We love
Do
you.
you guys really worry about it? Like we say that women worry about it, but we hear about how much we worry about because we talk about it all the
Women
time.
obsess about it.
We obsess about
And
it.
guys do.
Whereas
Women-
guys stay a bit quieter about it. Are you worried about it?
I think guys worry about it from a female standpoint. It's almost like hunting because guys instinctively, you know, want to go after women. So if you're a duck hunter, you're gonna have the camouflage, you're gonna have the decoy, you're gonna have the horn thing. So basically, it's the new camouflage. You have the car, you have the money, you have the chest, you have the pecs, and that's
But
how
I think,
you grab women.
it's also because there's a gym culture too. I think people go to the gym and to the health club or whatever, and it becomes.
It's the new
I
nightclub.
read
That's
something
it's like a clique.
It's a social
Interesting
scene
that
too,
it
though.
did,
Yeah.
it did come
Totally.
very much through the gay culture where in the 80s when AIDS started really hitting,
Prove
if
you're
you were
healthy.
buff,
Prove you're
you were
healthy,
healthy. But then I start hearing, no, it's a very much a straight thing too.
And honey looks really cute going down abs. You know.
yeah.
I'm so there. I'm so there.
Dwayne just likes any type of food going down anyone's ass.
And you're wasting that. That's fudge. That's Belgian fudge. I'm so not gonna have sex with you next week.
I don't know very many women though who worry about all that camouflage. I really don't.
I
don't
know
think
a lot of
women
very
don't necessarily worry
pretentious
about
women
being
that,
buff. Women worry very much about looking good.
No, women. Oh, okay.
I think
'Cause
she was,
women look
I
at
think
don't
she
think
was
women
talking
worry
about
about
women
being
worrying
buff.
about what guys
what
have.
guys have.
You're
I don't-
giving, you're giving
you
the
know
women
what?
a little more credit.
I think guys worry about what the woman looks like more than the woman
I
worrying
think
about what the
men
guy
put as
looks
much
like.
importance on what a woman looks like as a woman puts on what a guy does for a living.
What about
I
that,
think
Krista?
Yes,
What about
I
that, Krista?
I would just be excited if a guy I went out with these days had a job. So
Well, exactly. But I think like men don't really care what a woman does for a living,
No.
to a great extent.
No.
Well,
Unless-
whether she's a waitress or an assistant manager.
either way, or maybe she answers phones.
Or just lost her job answering phones
Answering
because of her
phones.
boss who was an idiot.
Oh, he's always an idiot.
Oh my God! Don't get me started
that
on
goes
Mr.
back to,
Withers.
you're-
and
you're-
Wendy from accounting, that bitch.
So it's just in your DNA. You're just looking for a
mate
I
think
have babies with.
guys have always. I mean, there's always been guys who wanted to look buff. I mean, before there was fitness clubs, Schwarzenegger was lifting piles of hay in Austria.
Yeah, eating crayons too. 'Cause
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
let's face it, bodybuilders aren't exactly the. I mean,
They're not
the
healthy.
beauty myth. They're not healthy, and the beauty myth is basically let's go for somebody shallow and vacuous. So we can have shallow, vacuous children. And and the beauty myth, like a very thin, beautiful, fantastic-looking girl, is actually not the most healthy thing. Like I've dated girls that are very thin and beautiful, and it's like, oh, my kidneys are failing.
I've never dated anyone.
how
I've never
thin? I
dated
mean,
anyone
we hold them up to a
because
light,
of
you
their
can-
health factor. I've never said, wow, she looks really healthy. I want to get with her. I've never said that. I've probably said like nice ass or nice boobs or something like that, but I have never
Over
said.
and over and
I don't
over
think-
again. Nice
I've
ass,
got-
nice ass.
I've got a feeling we wouldn't be hearing Jean Paul say boobs if he wasn't on TV.
For Jean Paul, a nice ass is the drink is walking
I
away
think
with
he
it.
went with boobs because he was on television. I'm pretty sure.
I second that.
He actually
Second
upgraded it
boobs.
from boobies.
Right. He tried to cool it.
I went to the TV list. Okay, boobs.
Right.
I like
But
it.
JP, do you go to the gym? Do you work out? What's the
I
deal?
go to the gym just because I actually enjoy playing sports, so I don't want to get injured when I play, and
Right.
I'm very competitive. So, I mean, if I'm
It's a
playing against my
fitness issue.
boys, I don't like getting beat. So I
Right.
want to be able to be
And
able to handle
you
that.
can tell yourself all day long that I'm just going to go out and lollygag, but you get into it about 10 minutes and you're full throttle. so
Oh,
you-
man.
right?
Yeah.
Like
for
me on
sure.
a sandwich, for example.
For sure. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you're not
tackling
sure-
a 3-layer sandwich.
Jean-Paul, you're not going to the gym to get.
No,
pumped up,
man.
no.
You know what it is? Like I said,
Stay in shape.
I stay in shape, and I want to be a cool-looking old guy. I
But
don't
there
want
is
to be.
still
See, that's the excuse I
Okay,
give to
we're
my
running
mom.
out
I
of
say,
time.
I'm just,
Let's wrap this baby up. Dwayne, throw us the commercial with a final thought. buddy.
Okay, the beauty myth is basically in women's magazines. In men's magazines, men are actually fat and the women are pretty hot. And the beauty myth in women's magazines like Cosmo, let's face it, who runs the magazines? Gay men. So, don't blame us. We like you if you're kind of buttery, as long as you're kind of a tramp. I mean, really, if you brush against us in the subway,
Right.
we'll give birth to your children
Right.
if we can arrange it.
Let's get out of here
love you.
before we get in trouble.
You're watching Real Men.
That's great. Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Real Men. We've been talking today, of course. That's what we do here. And we're going to throw it over to Krista Sutton for commentary. Krista?
son, I found some nudie magazines under your mattress. Do you want to ask me some questions? Does that scenario sound familiar? Did you have a little bit of a stash under your mattress? Well, I can assure you as your sister, I found them. Sisters have no fun anymore. We can't find the internet under your mattress. Where are boys learning about sex these days? From sex ed, like the studies are showing? Family? Friends? No, that's crap. They're still learning about them from the dirty magazines and getting the mixed messages from sex ed where it says no means no and date rape. And on the magazines, the pictures of women sitting there going, yes, more baby, more baby, more. Mixed messages. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my future son a subscription to Playboy magazine. But then that'll take away the fun from hiding it under his mattress and his sister finding it. I don't know. Tim, what am I going to do?
I don't know, Krista. It's a tough call. But dirty magazines, Krista? Come on. I think it's art. Don't you, Chuck? Art?
Art
Or dirty?
enjoyment, dirty enjoyment, art. But I personally think that all men should learn about sex from French prostitutes. I just think, yeah,
It's just not practical.
go to the source.
The old-fashioned way.
You wonder why your next
the
girlfriend doesn't smell.
old-fashioned way.
You know what they say, Americans, this is sex, and the French, nice and slow. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know who
It's
says
not
that?
a bad idea.
The French.
The French. But anyway, yeah.
We are
Well, they're doing
fantastic.
this because they don't want to touch each other because they both stink.
But I like the idea of a prostitute a little bit
my.
better than pornos, because in the
Well, I
pornos,
don't
it's
think-
like, that. It's just
See,
a good shot.
the
You're
reason why-
nowhere near where you need to be,
The
buddy.
reason why generally speaking, parents don't sit boys down as much as they do with girls is because guys are low maintenance when it comes to their sexual plumbing. When it comes to a guy's sexual plumbing, if he's circumcised, there's really no maintenance involved in being a guy.
So why don't the
But
parents
as a
take a
woman,
little
she
time?
has to understand, you know, this is how this works, and this is what you got to do with that thing, and this is how these things
The
are
only
going
thing
to
the
happen.
guy has to do is learn not to touch it in class. Because once you realize what it can do, the wonder and the miracle.
Not touch in class.
But
At
maybe
least
the-
touch it discreetly.
Maybe the guy needs to know what to do with it, though.
Dwayne,
Once he's not touching it in
when you
class.
learned to masturbate, did you realize this is something that is going to be with me?
Well, I
forever?
wondered where the fireworks came from, and I thought maybe I'd gotten some food poisoning, and everything was quite blurry, and I remember stumbling downstairs, and my mother was like, oh, I guess I know what you just did. No, I actually bought Playboy magazine very early. I asked my mother, I said, you know, I want to buy Playboy magazine. She said, fine, just don't keep it from me, you know, then it's not so taboo, and it's kind of, you know, and unfortunately Playboy magazine has less nudity than Cosmo, let's face
Yeah,
it.
well.
But, you know, that doesn't, the first adult film I watched was an 8mm reel, and it was in German, and it took place on a farm, and I'll leave it at that. All I can say was there was absolutely nothing sexual about it, and German men have got issues. Issues.
John Paul, where did you first learn about the birds and bees? What's the deal?
To be honest with you, I come from the islands, and it's a very sexual energy because there's a lot of music and drums and dancing, and a lot of people.
Blender drinks.
Yeah,
And
that too.
no television.
And a lot
Umbrellas.
of people equate the way we dance, as we dance very close, and it's almost very sexual, as sex. So, I mean, when you first start dancing as a kid, things start raising and like ideas and
yeah, like ideas.
and then you talk to your friends, and then so eventually I learned pretty much through my friends originally, and then I got to be friends with a lot of women, which I thought made it a lot better.
As
'cause
far
then
as
I could ask questions.
your guy
'cause
friends,
where
don't
are
you
you
end up
guys-
with a lot of misinformation though as a kid? Like-
Misinformation, because I missed a lot of things. And
Seriously, because where are guys? Okay, you can learn about the basics, right? But where are guys learning about the
beyond the
finesse?
fundamentals, beyond the fundies.
finesse, because that's the stuff. I actually just flipped through a Playboy and I was impressed because it went through, you know, only 2% of women have orgasms from penetration. Do you guys know this?
I think
No.
learning comes from practice,
Now it's a question of,
practice.
do you guys care?
No, that's
Practice.
Yeah, they have a great article, How to Convince a Woman She's Had an Orgasm. You're getting sleepy.
What to buy her instead?
In lieu of an orgasm, these gifts are quite excellent. Sorry about the
Honey,
thing
we do
I did with
recognize them the odd time they come around.
Chuck, did you ever have any, were you ever really off base on any information as a kid? You know, where you sixth grade and then you
Not
oh,
really.
it's not
I
like
think,
that.
I think with guys, most of it kind of comes in through osmosis and common sense. I don't think. I mean, I did take sex ed, but
Any
I was
good?
taking
Was that-
I
did
was
you-
taking
Oh.
sex ed at an all boys school, and you know the teacher comes out and is explaining what a diaphragm is, and I'm looking at her going, when is this ever going to come into play for anyone in this classroom?
everybody after
But
class.
because it's part of the curriculum, they have to teach it.
yeah, exactly.
Sex ed was generally a waste of time.
I think
Art-
sex ed is more for clinical things, like especially
Diseases
for
and-
women you learn about what's done and what's not done, and for guys it's like, okay, it goes up, it goes down, things come out, and
In
then, okay, I'll go
Everyone's-
play.
what
In,
everyone's
out,
scientific
repeat.
name is.
Well, that's it. I think they make sure they drill it. Pardon the expression.
for you.
home with
Catholic
us a little
school?
bit more. With us a little bit more because there's a lot riding on it. Again, a good expression.
Yeah, so with all the drilling and riding.
We'll be back right after this.
Yeah, chapter 4 of Drilling and Riding.
No, but we've
women are
got
taught-
something to-
But women are also taught, you know, it's your job to rein it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys aren't taught that.
Okay, we
Guys
got
are
to
taught
wrap this.
the
In all
woman's
seriousness,
job
I
is
was
to rein
raised.
it
I
in.
was raised by a single mother, and she said, "You know what? Women have been getting the short end of the stick, pardon the expression, their whole lives. You know what? Take your time. Take your time when you're making love. Just take your time. Enjoy yourself."
Nice. All right.
And so
that's
and
good.
that's
Let's get out on
honestly,
that.
you
We
know?
got about 10 seconds. Let's get out of here.
Slow
We're going to come right back. We're
Exactly.
talking about how did boys learn about
So many
sex?
women
Should
get
they?
ripped off,
How?
you know, like
When?
their whole
How?
lives. So I'm
I don't know. We're coming right back.
Always one of those guys.
The Poet Laureate of Canada, ladies.
It's a good thing I was going to say. She wasn't putting out.
Hey, welcome back to Real Men. I'm Tim Steeves. We're talking in this segment about who the greatest men of all time are. That's a good question. I like. For me, my money, Jackie Robinson's right up there. What do you think, JP?
Jackie Robinson's a good call. If I had to do someone that was known by people, I'd probably have to say Muhammad Ali. I think Muhammad Ali was not only a great fighter. I thought he was someone who stood up for his rights, and being a person of color, I respected the fact in the time that he stood up for black race or black people that it was inspiring.
And he's still
It
inspiring.
was dangerous and inspiring.
Yeah,
John
absolutely.
Crapper, the inventor of the indoor toilet. If you've ever taken a dump in the wintertime in an outdoor outhouse in Saskatchewan, John Crapper is the greatest man who has ever lived, who ever will live, period.
I'm gonna shake you up a little bit here because I just read an article today saying that, literally today, saying that he wasn't in fact the inventor. He improved on the design. He was a plumber.
His
Well, he's the one
wife.
that made
It was
good.
actually Billy Toilet that did. You can't. Can you believe it?
Frenchman,
Said,
toilette.
John Crapper used to analyze crap. That's
I
all
don't
he
care.
did.
Either way, it makes it comfy for me to poo, and I like that.
There was
So
there was
okay, come on now.
anyway.
Let's Dwayne. Give me a real one.
Great man.
Yeah.
A great man. I would have to say the guy who invented airplane glue because that helped me through some tough times. I don't know. I mean,
Come on,
it's all perspective, right?
Glue.
Is a great man a man that conquers a country and frees it, or is a great man a man who says no to violence? So I would say Gandhi then.
No, I
mean, he
think-
was shot to death and basically, apologized to the guy when he shot him.
Do you have any male idols?
Do I have any male idols that can't fly? Not really. No, I got to be honest with you. We live in a day and
Looking
age
for a
where an
hero.
idol would be like a Bill Gates, because Bill Gates, but anybody who's involved in computers has made my life tenfold easier. I'm an information junkie. When I was a kid, all you had to do was you had to go to dusty old bookstores and look up this misinformation, and you'd never get the real thing. Now, because of the silicone chip, I can get tons of information, real and not real, and I can decipher what I want. So I am happy about that. So whoever's involved with that, male or female, I think is the greatest because information is an excellent, excellent tool. It's underrated. Knowledge.
And with that, we got a lot of.
Okay.
I know that wasn't offensive, but
What about
hey.
you, Krista?
Well, I guess if it had to be somebody famous, it would be Nelson Mandela. But if we're talking about men, I would have to say all of our grandfathers and fathers who packed up their family, threw a suitcase onto a ship, and brought
Syphilis
all
and
these fam-
smallpox too.
all these families over to Canada.
pristine
I
wilderness.
literally want to sit down with those men, though. Those were courageous men and women, obviously. But a lot of the times, the father came over first, and I find it
But-
incredible. I would love to talk to my great-grandfather about that day he decided to.
He was illiterate and he wouldn't talk to you because you're a woman. Shut up, woman, I'm eating a potato. Oh, it's got maggots, that's protein.
Anyway,
one of
and my dad, of course.
Actually, a friend of mine...
Well, you bring up a good point, Krista. Maybe your dad is the greatest man in the world for you, right? I mean, that's a good point. I mean, is that the way to go? Is that where we should find our idols and our?
Yeah, I mean, I try and find heroes. I find, the famous names that we've been talking about very inspiring, and I think they're people that we can learn from. But yeah, it's the men in my life that inspire me on a day-to-day basis. Those are my heroes, my father, my grandfather.
At this point, we're pretty much fed up with the sports guys, aren't we? I mean, they've dropped the ball,
Well,
no
I
pun
have a-
intended,
Yeah,
enough, haven't they?
I never valued sports guys
They
as
just
legendary
churn them
heroes.
out.
I valued them as their ability to
Entertain
hit a
you?
ball, or they're entertainers more than they are heroes.
I can throw a ball 300 yards, and I have
Well-
9 illegitimate children, and I can't spell my own name. But I make $60 million
But
a
I think
year.
there are
I think
exceptions to that.
nowadays-
We've mentioned a couple of them already with
Yeah.
Jackie and Muhammad.
I think nowadays, especially, that everything is so monetarily driven that it's harder for someone to be, I won't necessarily say pure of heart, but I mean someone that you can actually look up to and say, wow, that's a really great guy.
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Doug Flutie.
I think
Doug,
those-
39 years old, Magic Flutie.
Like
Listen,
I said, Flutie
the Toronto
doesn't. I
Sun-
could give a crap at what Doug Flutie does. He doesn't do anything for me as
But
a
I think
person.
it's changed.
But
I
he's
think
probably
Doug
a great
Flutie's a guy like that. He's a
But
guy
yeah.
who he is in a position where he could be a superstar, kind of hold everybody off. But he's really just strikes you as the kind of guy who
But
works
again,
down
the
at
sad
factory.
part about Doug Flutie, as great as you guys say he is, he's not marketable, and unfortunately for him, that is so sad. That's the
The
double-edged
fact that
sword.
Doug Flutie's
he
name
is
has come
marketable
up.
because
Marketable.
he isn't marketable now, though.
And Latrell Sprewell is.
He's marketable
No,
as
no,
the
I'm not.
underdog.
I'm
He's
not denying.
5'10".
I'm not saying that.
Hold
someone
on.
makes
The
someone-
fact that Doug Flutie's name has come up in the segment of the greatest men of all time is freaking ridiculous. Krista, get us the hell out of here. 10 seconds or less.
Oh, I think we need to continue to look at sports people because sportsmen
Flutie.
because they inspire a younger generation. Times have changed, and I think what we're doing is going back to the men in our own life to inspire us.
I like
and that
it.
they do.
My
I like it.
mom's
We're
a-
coming right back.
My mom's a great man.
I'm skipping class to learn golf.
Doug Flutie. Okay. All right, settle down, people. We're back. Hey, welcome back to Real Men. We've had a great episode. We've talked about all kinds of stuff. I think we're going to stay with greatest men of all time because somehow short quarterbacks, we got the mullet into that conversation. I don't know how the hell. So let's go serious, Chuck. Give me a couple serious names, greatest men of all time.
Gutenberg, inventor of the printing press.
Okay.
Probably the man who changed the last 1,000 years of human history more than anybody else in the world.
Fair enough.
Martin Luther, because he's got a cool name. And he does. Martin Luther, it's like two first names, but different.
What about you, Dwayne? Couple of serious ones. Come on, you joke machine.
You know, well, I mean, as far as I was saying that I think knowledge is very important, let's throw a little controversial one. I would say Larry Flint.
Yeah.
Larry Flint, that man,
I agree.
even though he has a really sleazy magazine, he spent millions of his own money protecting free speech. And as a result, you can say, you know, I hate tall people and I hate short people without being persecuted or sued by tall or short people. You can have your opinion no matter how immoral society's taste may, or whatever society's taste may dictate at that point.
Larry Flint. Well, I'll buy Larry Flint faster than Doug Flutie. I'll give you that. JP, couple of last thoughts as far as, you know, give me a couple serious ones.
A couple of serious names. I'd probably have to say top of my list, Malcolm X. I think it was inspirational, the fact that where he came from and what he saw, to basically, like you said, knowledge, educated himself in jail to be one of the greatest orators that the black community has ever seen.
We're running out of time. Krista, quick last one.
Willie Shakespeare.
Billy.
Billy.
Oh, sweet
Billy
pants Willie.
Shakespeare.
That hack.
I don't need to say any more than that.
Theater.
All right, we're out of time today on Real Men. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back, you know, soon, and we'll be here. We'll be holding it down for you. Thanks for coming in. All right. Good job, fellas. Doug Flutie.
Because when Bill Shakespeare writes, it's like he knows what it's like to be there.
I want a fur, not a second-hand coat. I want a yacht, not a cheap little boat. I tell my daddy not to be depressed. All I need for happiness is the best. I want a diamond, nothing else has appeal. And when it comes to men, you know how I feel. I want a